The Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, the world's greatest detective, a staple in the comic book industry and a more significant icon in the world than many real-life celebrities. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joseph and I'm a film fanatic. We discuss movies, series, stories in general and what it takes to make them good. The mantle of Batman has been around since the late 1930s, when it was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Through its existence, a lot of people have held the mantle of Batman for many reasons, including Thomas Wayne, Clark Kent, Alfred Pennyworth, and more than half the Bat family. Nevertheless, the main Batman and the first person to wear the mask is Bruce Wayne. Batman is arguably, emphasis on arguably, the most successful and popular character in comic book history, with 13 live action movies, 9 animated series, and 32 animated movies.
Wait, you're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you?
At least every 2 years, we get an explicitly Batman-led content. It's a household name. With all this content, it's obvious the character has gone through several directors, producers, writers, animators, artists, giving their own interpretation and feel of the character. This has created a number of inconsistencies and discourse for the character, which is very normal for characters that have been around for as long as he has. But even at that, the core attributes of Batman can be seen in almost every iteration, and variety is the spice of life. Even though Batman isn't my favorite DC superhero anymore, my boy, he's still one of my best, and I really want you guys to see what I see in him. So with that said, I wanted to give you guys, as movie night suggestions, or for Bat Curious fanatics, some of my favorite animated films of this. So these are my top 5 favorite Batman animated movies. Number 5. Batman The Dark Knight Returns. This movie is essentially the end of an era for Batman, but it was so good that it was never forgotten. We see some essential aspects of Batman in this movie. His relationship with Joker, his feelings about sidekicks, his prowess as a tactician and his love for justice, and how these aspects have taken a toll on him over the years. This movie is part 2 of a 2-part series that shows an elderly Bruce Wayne returning to fight crime after 50 years of no Batman. He essentially becomes a nuisance in the country and even causes the return of the Joker. The president then sends Superman as a former ally or friend. Hot take, I don't see these two as friends no matter what anybody tells me. Worst case scenario, they are just really close work colleagues because they've had to work together a lot to stop him at whatever it takes. Part 1 is good, but part 2 is way better. It is grim, brutal, and intense. He's not a young guy that is doing all this extraordinary stuff. It's an old man, someone that is supposed to have retired but is being forced into action like he never left. The animation style feels a bit too bulky for my taste, but the story is just too engaging to dwell on that. The stakes are real, and there's a very good use of familiar side characters. Lastly, this movie has one of Batman's best lines.
In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
Number 4. Soul of the Dragon. The funny thing about this movie is, it's the only movie on this list where Batman isn't the main character. But he's here, and his presence has made the story important. The story follows Richard Dragon, a skilled martial artist, as he enlists the help of 3 former fellow students. This is where Batman comes in. They plan to stop a dangerous cult from unleashing a more dangerous serpent god that their master sacrificed himself to stop. The movie follows 2 timelines, so we get to see Batman in 2 different points in his life, as a novice and well into his Batman lifestyle. Better yet, we see him with people that he has trained with. I can't count how many times that I've argued that if I was to mention the top 5 hand-to-hand fighters in DC, Batman is not there. This movie solidified this point because amongst the 6 students, their master and some of the students acknowledged that as extremely skilled as Bruce was, he was the worst. Thank God fighting skills and all that made Batman Batman. This movie points out the pain he still carries from watching his parents die and growing up as an orphan. Forget how it's been casualized, it is still a messed up experience. We see Batman's determination, resilience, discipline and grit. All that aside, this is an excellent martial arts movie, as in Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Jean-Claude Van Damme. If you loved their kinds of movies, you'll definitely love this one because the fight scenes are too sweet, like the type to get you hyped. I've always known Shiva and Bronze Tiger were badasses, but I gave them more respect after this movie. Number 3. Batman Hush. The main selling point of this movie is that this is the Batman movie with the most variety of characters. What is it? I'm sorry, that's Sunday. She likes to be involved. This is Sunday, and this is Sunday purring. How are you? How are you normal? How? Say hi. Finish. Who is person? Granted, a little prior knowledge about the Batman universe or DC at large will help you enjoy this movie better, but no one can deny enjoying the parade of characters. This movie flexes Batman's diverse rogues gallery with significant appearances from villains like Clayface, Bane, Scarecrow, the Joker, Riddler, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and even important characters outside Gotham. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. As the story is sweet, you're happy to see these guys because they add value, and we're all suspects of being the true identity of Hush at some point in the story. In a classic rooftop bat and cat chase, Batman is attacked by a masked assailant and nearly killed. He is rescued by Catwoman and Batgirl and returns to work earlier than advised. He teams up with Catwoman to hunt the assailant, who goes by Hush. Hush continues to torment Batman as he and Selina works towards uncovering his true identity and putting a stop to his plan. Another really good thing about this movie is that it is probably the best Batman love story. There are several moments in this movie that give us a glimpse or a full view of the kind of relationship Batman has with a lot of the characters, none more than Selina. It is no news that Batman has a number of love interests, but Selina Kyle has always been his number one babe. This movie explores their love and how their vigilante lifestyle affects it. That one gave me one of the most random laughs at the end of this movie.
He didn't have to die.
You're crazy.
Oh my god, Batman. Number 2, Batman, Gotham by Gaslight. Normally, I'm a huge fan of murder mysteries, and I will praise any Batman movie that shows us his detective side. This movie meets those two requirements and does it in a gothic Victorian setting. That is my weakness. Hop's Bride, Pale Blue Eyes, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Phantom of the Opera, Wuthering Heights, Crimson Peak. Are you seeing the pattern? That is my vibe and a major reason why this movie is here. So Jack the Ripper has been on a young lady killing spree and no one is happy about it. Selina Kyle blames the incompetence of the police and tries to stop him herself. Batman saves her and together they try to put a stop to the killer while the public and the police believe Jack the Ripper and Batman are the same person. When there's a killer on the loose, the stakes are always high. Jack the Ripper was the perfect antagonist and the reveal at the end actually shocked me. It genuinely didn't cross my mind and that rarely happens. If not for the MCU that has reading the multiverse trope into oblivion. Believe you. If not for the MCU that has ridden the multiverse trope into oblivion, I've always felt alternate universes are actually very good in small doses. We get to see familiar characters and story elements in different situations with different interpretations. It can be very refreshing and we get a nice dose of that here. This movie also has my favorite Batman voice actor, Bruce Greenwood. I just love this guy. Have you seen Fall of the House of Usher? If what you would like is an eerie Batman thriller, look no further. This is it. Number 1, Batman Under the Red Hood. When I make this top 5 for you guys, I try to put aside my preferences and be as objective as possible. And I can objectively tell you that this is the best Batman animated movie so far. It centers on the most controversial aspects of Batman, his morality and ethical code, something that thousands of people, both fans and characters, have seriously contemplated and tried to address. This movie not only addresses the repercussions and significance of this, but also tells the story of Batman's greatest failure. A mysterious new criminal appears in Gotham and takes over the drug trade, offering protection for Batman and Black Mask in exchange for some earnings. Batman and Nightwing run into some thugs at a dock, where they also meet the infamous Red Hood, and begin their research and detective work. Meanwhile, Black Mask puts out a bounty on the Red Hood. This movie is the standard, no aspect is lacking. The design is simple and effective. The fights and action sequences are just spectacular. The drama is very tense with intelligent writing. The voice acting delivered. Again, Bruce Greenwood. We now also get Jason Ackles as Jason Todd and Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing. Batman is in his prime, doing detective work, serving justice, and casually ruining the lives of everybody that's close to him. If you call yourself a Batman fan and you have not seen Under the Red Hood, you're a joker, pun intended. That's it. In case you've seen all this and actually clicked the video for recommendations, allow me to also suggest Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. Batman vs Dracula. It's fun. Batman and Harley Quinn. It's funny. The Lego Batman movie. It's funnier. Batman The Doom That Came to Gotham. It's just odd. Batman Assault on Arkham. Honestly more of a Suicide Squad movie. Please share your thoughts on the list and what you consider watching. Also share your favorite Batman lines because I have a few more.
That's why I developed plans for containing any or all members of the JLA, should the need ever arise.
None of us would ever do that to you.
Then you're damn fools.
Please feel free to mention Batman movies that you enjoy but won't mention in this video, and I will either watch them or tell you why they are trash. Please subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you soon. Oh, Jesus, I've been talking.